What's up, everybody? This is Cream City Curveball. I'm your guy from North Carolina, Justin.
And the Polish pipe bomb here.
We are here tonight, live and in the flesh for us two. You all are going to watch it later on, hopefully a couple times, hopefully a few times. Pipe, these people used to go to sleep and take showers and all that other, or maybe that was just me back when you were on the post-game show. But however you want to listen to us and have a good time. We got a lot to pack in tonight, Pipe.
Yeah, we sure do. First off, to jump, I hope everybody spent a little bit of time on this Memorial Day holiday weekend thinking about the heroes that paid the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom. So me and Justin can sit here and talk a lot of smack, praise the good, make fun of the bad, all that kind of stuff, all because of the heroes that fought and died for our great country.
No, that's spot on. I couldn't say it any better than that. I'm sure you've lost people that you're close to. I've lost people. This whole world. So, man, and speaking of the bad, let's talk about the bad. You said the bad. Let's talk about these last two games with the Dodgers, right? We predicted it. I said we needed 2 out of 3. You said we needed 1 out of 3. Friday night, we both looked like we were in the catbird seat. We beat the lefty. I thought we had the two gentlemen going, the two Asian gentlemen going, Yamamoto and Sasaki. They're two Asian 1-2 punch. And I thought that one of those guys we could get. Sasaki left a lot out there for us to get, and we did not get it. Yamamoto, it's like he comes to Milwaukee and he just sees red. Let a lot get away today that weekend, no pipe. A lot of it get away.
Yeah, we sure did. Inability to come up with a big hit at key times. And then when you walk 722 guys in a 3 game series, that's not a real good recipe for success. I don't think I'm breaking any news there. But, they just sat there. They had 142 walks per game. You ain't going to win that way. And so, we could sit there and talk all we want about we didn't have Mizrowski and Harrison and them throwing. It doesn't matter. You got to sit there and win. We didn't face Otani either. So we went up against a Polish kid and then, Yamamoto and Sasaki. So, you know, it was fine. I'm not upset about, winning 1 out of 3 against LA, especially coming off the sweep of the Cubs and now that we got the St. Louis Red Chickens in town, as long as we beat up on them, I could care less.
Yeah, no, that's a great segue to that. I want to one just quick thing on this Dodgers thing before we go into the cards, because I think we got to get into the cards. Can we call them cards? Because I know we're not supposed to call the Cubbies Cubbies. What do you feel about it? Can we call them cards?
Yeah, sure.
So we got to spend a little bit of time on this Gasser stuff, though, right? Because I felt like Gasser is that prospect that has every tool in the box, but those tools never come out when it's time to repair something. And I'm not saying that it was all him either, because I thought that he pitched okay. Ever since that surgery that he had that caused him to miss all that time, we haven't seen the same Robert Gasser. I think it's still in there, and I think our pitching staff will get it out of him. But right now, man, it is just sheesh. A lot to be desired. You mentioned the walks. That was the biggest thing for me with Gasser. Those walks would led to that big inning, which allowed them to take that 4-3 lead. Can't walk two guys and then Teoscar do what he's gonna do.
Yeah, I know it. The frustrating thing for me with Gasser, like you said, we can all see the talent. Those pitches are in that arm, and he can make that ball dance. But for whatever reason, it's not happening. And the location isn't happening. The movement isn't happening. You got, Contreras back there, so you're confident that he's calling the right stuff. It's just an execution problem. So whether that's somewhere between the ears or what it is, his arm looks healthy. He was never going to sit there and get close to 100 miles an hour or anything like that. But for what he can do, it looks like he's healthy and the stuff is all there. For some reason, he just hasn't put it together. And I really want to see it because man, I was so excited when he first came up, had like some amazing starts and really helped out this team. And then the injury, all that missed time, and all that kind of stuff. And After years and years and years of the amazing pitching staffs that the Brewers have put on the field, it's go time. You can't sit there and when you got Logan Henderson and you got, Crow and these young kids that are throwing really, really good, you better show up and show out or they're going to show you the door.
No, that's a great. That's a great, just great. I don't know what I'm saying. It's great. That's what it is. It's great. We're gonna show you the door if you're not on point, man. I'm not on point right now, but we'll get it back together. So our other guy, then you had Sproat go the next night, and he's through 4 innings, a lot of traffic, a lot of walks again. 4 innings of 1 run baseball against that juggernaut of a lineup. I thought that's okay. But I need longer than 4 innings. I can't have 4 innings with the guy that's starting. We need 5 to 6. I thought that Murphy also. I don't know if it's Murphy. I don't know if it's Hook, but we didn't have McGill pitching this series. We didn't have Uribe pitching this series. We're missing major bullpen guys in a 1-to-1 baseball game. Could have had Ashby come in versus who do we have come in the fifth for Spro?
Man, that was a few gummies ago.
Well, it doesn't matter what his name is because he walked a hell of a lot of people and gave up a bajillion runs. But you get my point, man. So I don't feel like we really set ourselves up to win that. I almost feel like we were satisfied with the four and O start on this road, on this homestand, or on this trip or whatever, this juggernaut of a schedule. 2 more wins. Now we're 4-2, and we're in the catbird seat. If we lose these two, that's okay, as long as we prelude to what we did today.
Yeah, a lot of people want to use the Dodgers as a measuring stick. Where's this team at? Blah blah blah. Uh, it's too early for that. We faced the Cubs, who was in first place. We knock them out, and now then you had LA, and now you got St. Louis, who's to me a surprising team this season. I did not expect them to be anywhere near have as many wins as they do. So they're playing good baseball and all that, and the fact that we took the first one in that series, again, catbird seat. We're in perfect position to not only take the series tomorrow, but sit there and go for a sweep again.
I'm just super excited right now with Mizorowski to Harrison. Like you said, with those two guys starting it on, we're driving this bus here, and you got to get out the way, or we're gonna run you over with those two guys. We got to get a third guy kind of in there. I think Logie, or I'm sorry, Logan. I called him Logie. Logan
That's
Henderson.
fine.
We're just giving out nicknames tonight. But Henderson's he's a good 3. And then we got to get Father Quinn Priester back and Woody for our 5. I don't care which order you shake them in. I think shake them up in. That's a good starting 5. Today was absolutely amazing, though. We had my guy Christian Yelich, lifetime Brewer, 2-run uphill shot. Then we have oh no, Renhefo didn't get the RBI because Yelich had a terrible slide, but we'll let that slide, pun intended, because he hit the 2-run jack. It was a good solid win though, man. You have to beat divisional teams. I thought we across the board we did great things, man. And Joey Ortiz is on base a couple times a day again, wasn't he?
Never heard of them, but I only pay attention to professional baseball. So when we sit there and throw eight real players and then a little leaguer out there, I ain't got no time to pay attention to that one. But yeah, good start to the series. Renhefo, like you could talk about it. His average is just hideous. You look at the numbers and you just shake your head. There's nothing else you can do, but especially out of the group of three, if you want to put him with Joe Zero and with Perkins, um, he's definitely consistent, been more consistent hitting barrels on the pitches and stuff like that. It seems like he's kind of hit into bad luck and all that, which is fine. However, we're past the bad luck stage. Bad luck don't last 6 months. So, you could go through an unlucky couple weeks, but it starts stretching more than that. I'm going to look side eye at you. But, it's good to see him, sit there and just even get on base is a win for any of those three. But, I do have more hope out of Renhefo than I do the other two.
Yeah, that bad luck you just brought me back to Yelly in 2020, the COVID year. It felt like everything he hit was bad luck. But that's when we had shifts and stuff like that. So we don't have that anymore. So the luck conversation has to be even a little bit smaller than what it was back then because of the shifts. So you're looking at the left side of that infield, man. You hear a lot of people talking. Everyone's talking. If you're doing a Brewers podcast, if you're doing national radio, if you're doing local radio, national guys don't really talk about us though, but you get my point.
Right.
Everyone's talking about the left side of the infield. Everyone wants to know: do you want the bat? Do you want the glove? Do you want the bat? Do you want the glove? I think I'm freestyling here, but I was excited to see Cooper Pratt this weekend. He showed me a lot of good things in Durham. The glove isn't as bad as what people allegedly make it seem. I think his glove is it's not Joey Ortiz's glove, but his bat's gonna be tremendously better than his bat. Right? I think his bat. Never mind. I'm not gonna say that. No, I'm saying his bat was better than his bat in Double A. Like, let's just be real. Like, and it's no shade to Joey because I think Joey will be a good baseball player, but I think his time has came and it's time to go take those talents somewhere else. Where kind of like we talked about this the other day on the phone pipe when it was just me and you. We talked about Willie Adames, getting him out of that Tampa Bay setting. Maybe getting Joey out of Milwaukee and getting him somewhere else where he can really thrive might do him a solid.
It could, I don't care what happens to him after he leaves, just as long as he leaves. That's all I want. So, he can go on, and if hell freezes over and the kid accidentally runs into 15 homers a year or whatever, well, I'll tip my cap to him, and maybe I'll change his name to Joe point oh 0.05 instead of Joe Zero. But as long as he gets the hell out of town. But it's nice to see with Pratt and all this kind of stuff. I understand pitching and defense, and anybody who sits there and we need to build our team around offense now and change it up because we don't have Corbin and Freddie and Woody. We don't have that quote unquote 3-headed monster at the top of the rotation. But sort of we do, because we got, Mizorowski, Harrison, Father Quinn when he comes back. I think Henderson can turn into be something special. Sproat, I'm still on the fence. Every time he goes out there, it's like, is this going to be the game that convinces me? And then it never happens. So, we'll wait a couple more days and try that again. But there's a lot of options there. But the thing is that the pitching and defense philosophy for the Brewers has been wildly successful. All the playoff runs, a couple deep playoff runs, a game away from the World Series and all that kind of stuff, proves that pitching and defense can get you close. But we've got good defense. You got Terrain. You got Frelick who won a Gold Glove. You have good defenders. If Cooper Pratt comes out and has absolute stone hands in the field, I'll deal with it because that bat is going to make that big of a difference. It. And if you just swapped him 1-for-1 with Joe Zero, do you think that Pratt's average would be as pathetic as Joey Zero's with the bases loaded? You give Pratt, even half of the opportunities that Zero got with the bases juiced, man, his average is going to be probably at least triple what little Joey's is.
Yeah, and he had another opportunity to get today, second and third, man, second and third, one out, and or was it no outs? I don't know. He struck out, then Jackson struck out, so that's one out. Speaking, so leading into these prospects and stuff like that, man, we saw a masterful performance from Miz. I think with the stuff that he's doing is just unspoken charters. I think I was listening to Tommy and Tim, best Brewers postgame show ever, and Tommy was kind of referencing Mizorowski is a lot like Yelly coming in, him being a phenom, changing the culture of the Brewers again. And I think that is absolutely spot on, bro. You can't look at this guy as just a this or just a that. He's him. And that's why I put my $25 on the Miz to win the Cy Young this year. I think he's realistically right now, if the season ended today, I think he's hands down it with Skenes, and that the nickname you gave him, with
Yep.
Skenes being terrible. So you got him. Terrible's relative. I know he no hit the Brewers or allegedly almost did, but he's not performing as well as the business. The business must see TV right now reminds me a lot of Strasburg when he first came up with the Nationals. Reminds me a lot of. I heard a comparison earlier today with Tim and them with Ben Sheets. I mean, he's a guy when he's on the mound, you want to watch him. He's phenomenal, and I think the Philadelphia Philly fans have said that he wasn't a true All Star last year. They're gonna get it, and they're gonna kind of eat their crow this entire year, especially when he wins the Cy Young. And maybe, just maybe, Pipe, he doesn't just win the Cy Young. He doesn't just win that. Maybe he wins World Series MVP with 3 wins in the World Series.
Well, let's hope so because oh my God, how awesome would that be? The thing with him is that you can see the maturity with him. He is learning. He's understanding how to approach hitters now. Before it was just gas, 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 and I'm going to sit here and just chuck it as hard as I can and bet that you can't hit it. And he did that to a fair amount of success. But now the fact that he's actually learning how to pitch, how to attack hitters, what pitches set up another pitch, and all that kind of stuff, and you can't obviously do any better than working with William, Wild Bill. So the future is so bright with him. My only thing is, man, I've seen him trip on the mound and get hurt. We've seen some silly things every now and then. So I'm so nervous every time he throws a ball.
Oh my God! Remind me of what was that kicker's name? Grammatica that tore his ACL, jumping around and all that. Just
Celebrating an extra point or something.
yeah, just craziness. Yeah, Biz has to kind of clean that type of stuff up. Be careful. You're too valuable of a person to lose for tripping over the mound. That's crazy work. So what do you think? You think it's a realistic chance that Miz can be your Cy Young winner this year? Where do you feel? Where are you at with it?
Yeah, of course. And a lot of the reason why is because Cy Young is kind of like MVP. You're not going to get. They're not going to choose the MVP from a terrible team. I don't think it's happened since like Bonds or somebody way back when. So you've got to be on a good team, which makes no sense because if that guy is sitting there straight dealing, he deserves it, and it should be based on your stats for the season. That's not how it goes. So he's got the name recognition because of the All Star nod. That wasn't deserved, but obviously we're glad he was there. And it was a great show until they interviewed him in the dugout during the game, and he sounded like a dummy. But it is what it is. He's getting better with that too, man. I saw his interviews and stuff today and after the game, and he's getting a lot better. So, he's maturing right in front of our eyes, and that's good to see. The only problem is that now the clock starts, and that he's as soon as that contract is up, he gone. Because the Brewers ain't going to be able to afford him, and that's just the facts of baseball. But hopefully, once they work out this whole labor thing, they'll figure out a way where we'll be able to hold on to him. But it's so sad when you got a player that good, that young, and you're already looking at the expiration date, knowing that you can't extend it.
No, yeah, and that's why we just gotta hope that this, like you said, the salary cap comes into play, allows the Brewers, allows some of these Kansas City Royals and Minnesota Twins, some of these other programs, the opportunity to compete, and that's what makes what we're doing even more impressive because we're still competing with half the payroll of a lot of these guys. So today we had activated off the 60-day IL. We had Badu. I saw him pitch, or sorry, Lord have mercy. I saw him hit Durham Bulls pitching Tuesday night in Durham. 2 home runs. He seemed to be knocking the cover off the ball. Looked healthy, running the ball, running the field well, running the bases well. Batting average is a lot to be desired, but I mean it's AAA, so you're just out there trying to get as many swings in as you can. So you got Badu coming up. We talked about Cooper Pratt. I think that means for my boy Blake Perkins, he's unfortunately going to be sent back down to Nashville for a while to kind of get it together, and hopefully he does. So we're are you excited about these prospects coming back? What do you think about Badu? Where you at with all that stuff, Pipe?
Yeah, man. Of course, I'm excited with all them young guys. A team in this, in the discount market like we are, you've got to sit there and develop and have just a constant stream of good players to not only make up for injuries, make up for the dudes you can't afford, make up for the dudes who, who you pick up, who you think are going to make a difference, and they turn out to suck. So like Renhefo and Joe Zero and stuff. So you got to have a steady stream coming up. Pratt's exciting. Jet Williams is exciting. Badu is exciting. Jesus, is coming. His ray of sunshine is going to shine down, and all that pretty soon. So yeah, there's a whole
Amen.
lot to be excited about with the young guys.
So speaking of these young guys, there's a lot of stuff, and I think we're one of the only shows that haven't talked about it yet. They have that guy Scooble allegedly on the trade market, coming back after some type of Scooble scope that he had on his elbow to get back. Rumor for Milwaukee, what it's going to take is going to take Pena, Gasser, and maybe insert a prospect here, a prospect there. For me, you're coming back off an injury. I think I'm cool. I don't think we need pitching. If you're talking about a bat, we can have a little bit of a conversation. But I just think he's coming off of an injury. And without a salary cap, I don't think we keep him. So we're giving up a lot of capital. And if we don't win the World Series, it's not worth it. This is 2008 where we hadn't been to the playoffs in 32 years or whatever bajillion years it was then, bro.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. It's just way too steep of a price for somebody that you can't hold on to long term. If we were a team that was able to sit there and make that deal, but then go ahead and extend him for 5 more years, then sure, I'd be all for it. Let's do it today and get that deal done. And even if he doesn't, contribute all that much because of the injuries that he's trying to come back from this season, you're still locked in full steam ahead for 5 more. We're not going to have that problem, so I don't even want to entertain it because it ain't going to happen. The Brewers don't do moves like that. They don't sit there, and they're not going to sacrifice some, quote unquote top guys. You know, Pena. We'll see. What happens. They're prospects for a reason because they ain't done it in the bigs yet. But no, that's too steep for a dude you can't hang on to.
Yeah, and maybe if we're I'm just trying to look up the guy's name from the Astros, I forget his name, but that MVP candidate guy that they have or something like that, that may be a better conversation because you have 2 years of control. But all that for Scooble, for him just to give us the deuces and walk away, I
Yeah,
can't do it.
it'd be fun, don't get me wrong. And when you sit there and line up in a playoff series with Screwball and Miz and Harrison and Judas Priester as your 3 or 4, come on, man. You're going to be a tough out no matter who you play. So yes, all of that is extremely exciting and enticing. It ain't going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the thing that just kind of scares me about it though is I don't feel like we lost to the Dodgers last year because of pitching. I thought we pitched very well against them.
Mhm.
I think we lost because Caleb Durbin was your hitter. And that was pretty much it. You had Contreras a little bit, Jackson Cherry a little bit, but the whole left side of the batter's box did absolutely nothing.
Yeah, and yeah, you're 100% right. I when we talk about these young guys, I do, and I never thought I'd say this, but I do want to see Black up here again because he was impressive. So what I've seen from him so far this season, you look at him, that is how a baseball player is supposed to look. He's got the perfect baseball body, and it just finally we actually saw him hit the ball and make some contributions. I'd like to get him out of Nashville back up here to the show and have him continue his growth because he's been in the organization now for a long time. You got to figure out, is this a dude you want to continue to invest in, or is this a dude who didn't quite work out here and then you're looking to sit there and flip him for somebody else?
Yeah, I saw him hit some good have a good stick down there and Sunday night in Durham too, man. Got a lot of good base hits from him. Just thought he was absolutely amazing. Played a little bit of left field and it wasn't horrible left field. It's about on par with Jake Bauer's left field, and that's all I need him to do. I don't need that guy to be All American, Sal Frelick, Gold Glove. right fielder, left fielder, whatever the case may be, man. So I just think we got a lot of good stuff in front of us, man. I want to kind of close out a little fun one, man. You see, I got the Brewers Giannis jersey on. Um, I think we'd be remiss with us being Milwaukee guys tied in some type of way to not mention Giannis on this minority owner for your Milwaukee Brewers. Just got to ask you, Pipe, how do you feel about Giannis and how do you feel about the way he's been kind of carrying himself, representing not just the Milwaukee Bucks, but he also represents the Milwaukee Brewers as well?
I think that he has ruined a whole lot of the goodwill that he developed earlier here. Just the fact that the way I see it, the Milwaukee Bucks organization has done everything for him. They've hired his brother. They've hired his whole family. They, sat there and Thanasty's been stealing a roster spot from somebody who can actually play. And then whatever, what's his name, Alex or whatever, down there in the Z League, playing with the scrubs down there. So we've given his whole family jobs, citizenship, all that kind of stuff. Grew up here, blah blah blah, and then he wants to cry about that the organization isn't doing enough for him to win. The Bucks were in great shape until Giannis started putting his finger on the scale and sitting there. He was responsible for Lillard. He wanted who was that coach?
Doc,
Alvin or
Doc,
no, the
oh,
one before him,
Dr. Griffin, Adrian Griffin.
Adrian Griffin. He wanted him. Then he didn't want him. You know, have we not learned nothing? Has nobody learned nothing watching LeBron try to play GM? And Layach has been terrible at it. He won a COVID championship with the Lakers, right? And that should be asterisk because they took 6 months off halfway through. So just a bunch of crap. Giannis is bringing this on himself. I don't care what happens. Just reach a resolution so I don't have to hear about this garbage no more. Because at this point, I'm so tired of hearing about it, man. I don't care if he stays or goes.
Yeah, shout out to our brothers over there on the Cream City crossover too. We throw a little bit of basketball at you for a sec, just because of. So I guess I'll close with this with the Giannis. You're spot on with a lot of your stuff. I see and hear where you're coming from. What does it mean for the Milwaukee Brewers marketing? I think this is a big piece. People stood in line for these things. I had the bobblehead over there. They had another jersey. What does it mean for our marketing if we lose a guy like Giannis on the baseball side of things, since the Brewers have kind of tied him into the marketing?
Nothing. Because if it meant that much, they would have had a Giannis giveaway this season, which they do not. So, yes, those 3 games, the 2 jerseys, the bobblehead, whatever, sellouts, people actually were getting hammered in line to get in there so they didn't miss the giveaways instead of hanging by their cars until the second inning. All that kind of stuff. The excitement, the turnout, everything was there. It worked those 3 times. But if the Brewers would have been concerned about attendance or drawing more people, they definitely would have had a Giannis giveaway. And the Brewers have so many people that they can do those giveaways with. You throw a Euchre Ziploc sandwich bag giveaway. You're going to sell everything in standing room only because everybody wants anything Euchre. Robin Yount, Molitor, Gumby. You got all these guys you could sit there and do that stuff. Prince, Braun. You don't need Giannis to sit there and drum up interest. You know, Seems like a nice dude, was a cool story and all that, but he's a little different than what he was when he came up.
So I think we got a little bit of breaking news. So if you're watching now, don't, and you're gonna get breaking news from us live here. I believe, just trying to make sure I confirm this to be correct. The Astros have just thrown the 22nd combined no hitter in baseball against my second team, my beloved Texas Rangers. I know I said we were going to go after the Giannis thing. Just real quick, your thoughts on combined no hitters. Where are you at with those?
It don't count. That ain't a no hitter. That's just a game with 0 hits. It ain't a no hitter though. No hitter is one dude. One dude start to finish. This combined garbage is nothing. That's why the Brewers, one no hitter in their history. That's it. That combined stuff don't count.
So I'm gonna disagree with you on that one because I think that allowing no hits is the same thing as a no hitter. I think, but I do. I guess I'm gonna disagree with you, but agree with you because I do think they need a separate category for it. It can't be revered the same way that one guy standing up there doing it. Like we really got two no hitters by one guy though, because that umpire wasn't an idiot, and that scorer in Pittsburgh, CC definitely had one too. But I hear you, Pipe. You got anything else before we get out of here tonight and go watch some playoff hockey?
I don't think so, man. It's been, a great holiday weekend and all that. Hope everybody had a fun one and was safe. But, spend some time thinking about them fallen heroes. So, always in our hearts. And we thank all the members of the military for what they do and the sacrifices they make for us. And we'll get into that, come Veterans Day and Armed Forces Day and all that. But, Memorial Day is about the fallen. And so, all gave some gave all.
We are we because of them, and I think that's a great way for us to leave it, man. This has been a Cream City Media Group production from your guy Justin in North Carolina.
And Jeff,
This has been Cream City Curveball. Let's go Canes.
yeah.